Church at the bar. You're about to enter.
Get down on your knees, cross your hands, close your eyes, ask God, help you understand.
I'm casting all my cares to you. Casting all my cares unto you, Lord.
You're about to enter.
Down on my knees,
Church at the bar.
cross my hands, close my eyes, ask God, help me understand what I'm going through. I'm just a man. It's a hard road, but it's all in God's plan.
You're about to enter Church at the Bar, meeting people where they are.
Today's discussion is part 2 of last week's discussion on the roles in marital relationships.
The crazy part about it is because it's allowed, it's a repetitive cycle. The thing about with a daughter is it's no different. Actually, it's harder with both. If you look at it, a father has to look at another man knowing that he's a dog and how he treats his daughter. He knows it. He can see it from a distance. The problem is that the mother can see it too. But when a mother approaches her daughter and says, "This is what I don't want for you," our defense mechanism goes.
We're
up.
different.
But a mother is a woman, so a mother can look at the dog and be like, "But I see what you see in him, baby." You know,
Yeah,
but the father ain't looking at it like
the father, we're so worried about what he thinks.
Right.
Because we want to please him. Because our first love comes from our dad.
Right.
So when we go out with him, we want to please him. But then let me tap into that. Some women don't even know what it is to have a father.
Right. And we all of us here do.
Right.
Know what it's like to have that love from a father.
Yes.
So it's a little
it's
different
kind of hard.
if you
So
had that.
So I can't relate to the I'm looking for, I'm doing this and I'm doing this
Looking for a dad.
because I'm looking for
I'm not looking for daddy. I have
and I don't have daddy
I have one,
issues.
yeah.
So therefore, a lot of the times I'm looking for some of the qualities that my dad has in a man, which I have not found.
And then you get disappointed
You
when
know
you
what I mean?
don't.
And I get very disappointed. But also, too, I see it more. I think that we're discussing more about mother and son dynamic is because father and daughter, because it was just my dad and I. At a certain point, my dad, it was just us. And so I never had a problem really transitioning when it came to relationships. Like, I got to make sure that my dad is... Because my dad didn't raise me to be codependent. He raised me to be autonomous. So that was instilled in me to be independent, to be autonomous, to think for myself, feel for myself, don't be afraid, tap into my intuition. That's a part of me. So I didn't have trouble making the transition. I just had trouble with, other issues, other things but not making the transition into trying to facilitate my own relationships.
I did.
And I think that a lot of you had trouble trying. Okay.
I have to be honest because when I think about it, I lost my dad when I was 10.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I lost my dad when I was 10, and my mother raised me. And I always tell people, my mother may not have nothing to give me, but she gave me love and God. And that was the most powerful thing because when I see other people and I see how they hinders and I see everything about them, I see the grace and the mercy that God has on me. If you could tap into what I experienced, I don't know what it is to know what type of man I'm looking for. I have a godfather who I love dearly, who's an awesome man of God, awesome father figure, but he's not my father. That's a difference. He's my godfather. He's my father. I love him. He's something that I look up to, but I've never had that one-on-one where I could lay on his shoulder and say, Daddy, when I was younger, what do you, who you are, what I need from a man. Now I'm so independent where sometimes it can be an X factor for me because I'm so independent that I'll be like, okay, well, what you won't do for me, I will do.
Right.
And I ain't worried about it.
Right.
But I don't come off like that. I come off by just doing it.
Right.
So if I ask you one time and you don't do it, bottom line, by the end of the week, it's done.
Right.
And you looking at me like, well, she didn't give me a chance. Well, I wasn't taught that way because I came from nothing. I'm going to keep saying
Right.
When you come from nothing and you make something out of yourself and you have God and love, it's not that you came from nothing, but you had everything that most people don't have.
Right.
So that's why I tell them all the time, you did a hell of a job. Don't worry about that, Blue.
Yeah.
I call that's my silver fox. What's up? You did a hell of a job, girl. Go ahead.
Right.
So it's so I can't relate to y'all because I watched Jamie with her dad. I just remember when I first met Jamie, her dad, and I don't mean to make you emotional, but I know how much you love him. He's such a beautiful man. I mean, I met y'all. We were doing a show at the Leacourt Center downtown, and he was so proud of you. I was watching him from the back, and Jamie was walking out, and I was watching how proud he was, how his chest set up, how when she was singing, he was doing his dance moves, and he was right with it. And what I said was that look at a father's love for his daughter.
Special.
It was special. It was dynamic. Them two together. As soon as she come off the stage, yes, she loved her mother, but as soon as she came off the stage, just them two, right at each other. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, you ready? Ready? You got it. And it was like he was her masterpiece. Everything he wanted to be, it was in her.
Yes.
He put it all in her.
Sometimes it happens that way, right?
And I'm telling you, and I remember like it was. I remember I used to come to her house, and it's so beautiful. She had this white dog.
This white dog.
And Dad would be so, Jamie, you okay? Every time you walk in, Jamie, you okay? Yes, Daddy, I'm fine. It was like, I was like, this is like Hollywood. Like, you know.
It's like Hollywood.
Because you know what it is that you saw the real love. Not pretend, not made up because this is my child. No, because I love her. Mm-hmm. She's a part of who I am.
Yeah, you know what?
So she learned what she needed. Yeah. She knew what she didn't want. So whenever she was in a relationship, she knew what a man he could try to get over her, but eventually she's seen it. And she's like, you know.
Yes.
Because he taught her. Yes. Because he taught her. Yes. Right?
He taught her natural, pure.
But I'm trying to tell you, because they love. So you know, when the mask was on, and then when the mask came on, she's like,
right. And when that mask starts to melt down.
Oh, I got you. I'm gonna fix you, baby. Get ready for the rumble.
I'll fix you.
And it was like for her it was not that I'm gonna hurt you, but I'm gonna get rid of you. Once I get rid of you, my dad already taught me.
Yeah, when
I'm better without you.
And it does depend on the female because when that man, yes, because that type of relationship, I understand, that type of relationship. And so, with that being said, the tolerance levels,
nasty.
The tolerance
it's
level
a lot different.
Even
things that may not be, maybe some things may not be so bad. Like I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not, but my tolerance level, I have no, because my dad.
I can say the one thing that I really have always looked for and really miss, it comes back to that, idea of a man leaving his father and mother, because the man is really supposed to be a covering and protector. And when my dad was living and well, I never felt like anybody could do anything to me because I knew that if they did, I could go to him and he would straighten it out. He would do the Suge Knight on them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't have that anymore because he's not here. And I expect that in a man. I expect the man that I'm with to be able, if it's a problem,
right,
that he can really handle it. Them type of problems that only a man can solve.
You feel unprotected.
Yeah,
I feel unprotected.
And it's not always physical.
I feel,
I
feel totally naked out there.
And see, listen, what y'all saying is something I'm experiencing right now. I'm getting a text message. And it's so crazy because what y'all have experienced is something that most young girls still don't experience. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not going to say this person's name, but I'm going to say this. Somebody that's dear to my heart has a father. Mm-hmm. He's a great father. Mm-hmm. But he taught them how to be boys, not women. Mm-hmm. So when they cry, he believes that they should not cry. So when she's at a place in her life right now, just like right now she's texting me, she's asking me these questions, and I'm saying to her, do you know your worth? These are the questions that he should have instilled inside of her. But because he was so busy trying to train them to be boys, he left out the most precious part of them, was the girl. She's not a boy, she's a girl.
She's a girl.
But I think it's okay for men to cry.
But you know
what?
No,
he said it's not.
But you know what?
It's not okay for her.
But a lot of
I think it's okay.
But a lot of fathers do that because
So right
They
now,
are doing
she's
their
going to
very
pick a man
best
that's not going to.
It's okay to
try
cry.
to
Yes.
instill strength in their daughter.
You can still strength, but
Because
not
my
her
dad
crying.
did that to me.
For real.
My dad, if I would cry, he would. My dad is very sensitive to me crying, and he's very sensitive to my tears. But there were certain things in certain instances where he'd be like, "No, stop that."
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trying to
Get it together. Because he knew that I had a rough world to face out here as a woman, and I may not have a man that would protect me.
and
like
also
he
trying to teach you
I understand that.
how to protect
what I mean?
your sensitivity. You can't be sensitive.
I understand what you're saying about that.
everybody.
Because that's the strength he's building in you.
Yeah.
But the thing I don't want her to pick is I don't want her to pick a man who does not want to make her. She's going to pick the exact same.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
what
I got
she,
you. I got
and
you.
the thing about it is the defense mechanism is for her to protect herself outside the world.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she still needs to know what type of man she needs.
Yeah.
And the problem is if she's going to take a man because of who he has and what accolades he is, I need her to take a man who's going to adore her, who's going to love on her. Because guess what? When you're in the midst, you're going to sit in sorrow. You're going to sit in a place where you're miserable because you don't have that.
I want to ask y'all a quick question.
That's true.
And I don't know if you guys have all experienced this, maybe so. When you're in a relationship, and I'm not even going to talk about brothers and sisters and friends, when parents have been out of order in your relationships, like your significant other's parents, how do you handle that? Like if they out of order, like whether it's out of order by way of disrespect, whether it's, they have some type of enmeshed relationship and your significant other is like, I don't know, treating their parents like they're their children, or anything like that. The parents are being allowed to disrespect you. Like, how do you deal with that? Do you just walk away? How do you deal with it?
I think you have to confront it, but you have to do it from a clear space, a calm place. And when I say that, you have to pray about it. Mm-hmm. So seek the Lord first.
Right.
And then I would say from my situation, since I'm a man of God, I would also say talk to my wife.
Right.
Right. Talk to my significant other.
Mm-hmm.
Let her know my concern.
Right.
Those types of things.
Right.
Right. Not only that, you have to be true to yourself. So if an issue happens and your significant other doesn't feel comfortable speaking to that family member, you have to say with all due respect, I believe this needs to be addressed. If you can't handle it, then we may have to consider some other avenues. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it should ever get to the point where now we have to get physical with the other side of the family.
Well, I'm gonna wait for you guys to say.
Does that kind of make sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
So for me, I can speak for me.
Sure.
My mom loves me so much that sometimes she doesn't know her position. And it bothers me because I know she wants the best for me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I always try to tell her, but your best may not be my best. And sometimes I feel like I'm trying to live for her. And it kills me. Because if I don't pick the right man, she's upset with me. And I can't take it. I don't like the feeling.
Right.
Or if I like somebody and she don't like her, I'm hiding. Right. Like I'm literally like, I try to downgrade the situation. Like, oh, it's nothing.
Right.
And then she like, because that man is a mess. I'm like,
well,
and it's like, you really like him. You like, And then when you do like him, and then the crazy part, when you're not saying nothing, and your body is saying everything else, oh, you like him. You a fool. Now you're a fool. Now you be like, you like him. You're a fool. Now you feel bad because now I thought I was hiding it, but I really wasn't. And the problem is that you want to please, and I think sometimes that's why I said.
You gotta be careful with that too, because then your parent becomes an idol, and God don't like when we make and that's really.
My mom did a lot of things, and that's why in this season I'd be like trying to check her, but I'd be like, Lord, help me, I'm not to say some stuff, and it's because and the thing about it is you gotta be careful when you give them the power. Yeah. I gave her the power. I opened up to her. I told her things that I should not have told her. Some things I gotta pull back from because some things she shouldn't know. Right. And I gave her the power. I gave her the ammunition to come with me.
Just like that last time, child.
Open door like this is my daughter's house. Well, in the name of God. So like
And there are some things when you get married, my sister, that your parents may not need to know about your relationship with your significant other.
They should know.
You're leaving and you're cleaving.
I'm learning. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm learning. I'm being honest over here.
You're becoming oneness.
Yeah.
Right.
You're living in unity. Now you're including all these other people.
Yeah.
And then messes up.
It gets messy real quick.
What would you say, Crystal? How do you deal with that?
But the not being able to not.
If the parents are out of order and you gotta, you know, like, how do you deal with it? Would you break up? Do you stay and address it? How do you?
Just like James said, it does need to be addressed, but in a clear space. You know, so that's number one. I do feel it is something that if you care about a person enough, you should be willing to address it in a clear space. So praying, meditating, whatever people do.
Not annoyed and angry.
Not angry and not waiting until you are angry to then
Outbursts.
An outburst and things that you've been holding in that you know what I mean?
Like a volcano.
And it just erupts. Right. It erupts. So I think that's number one. However, people who don't have these boundaries, don't understand this limit of boundaries. A lot of times they get very defensive.
Yeah.
They get very defensive,
especially when it's talking about their parents.
Sometimes angry, sometimes is the only way.
Yes.
Sometimes that's the only way, even though it shouldn't be. It should be in a perfect world. It is what it should be. If people are practicing and have been practicing healthy communication skills, most people don't have healthy communication skills. They don't want to hear anything bad about themselves. They don't want to hear anything that seems like it's constructive criticism because they feel criticized. And there's a lot of deep-rooted issues. Sometimes you gotta blurt it out and say what you need to say in order to get the point across.
But Crystal, who do you have control over? You.
But that is true. Right. So a lot of these people, they get very defensive, or they may get very defensive. Sometimes it's better just to. It's a hard question. It's a hard question to answer. But in a lot of cases, if people don't know or understand how to set the boundaries on their relationship with their parent and where you fit in, you are just always going to be kind of like something that falls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and maybe
if you're the man's wife, you're number one.
I mean, you're supposed to be.
But even if you're dating someone. Even if you're dating someone, there should be certain things that you look for that are healthy within their relationship with their parents for you to know that the relationship is in order. Because even when you're dating, there's certain things that your significant other shouldn't be doing. There's certain things that their parents shouldn't be doing.
How's he treating his mother?
There's certain things that shouldn't be happening. He should be honoring his mother and father, but that don't mean obeying everything that they're saying with reference to y'all's relationship. That doesn't mean, the parents should be coming before. It just doesn't mean it.
Yeah, you can see the dynamic.
You can see it.
You can see the dynamic before it even gets to a point where it is getting serious. You are able to assess that. You can see when there's some unhealthy things going on. And a lot of times, we ignore a lot of the red flags. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we love.
Or we lust.
Or we lust.
Or we lust. Because I want people to understand there's a
difference.
There's a difference.
And we don't realize. And when you were saying about, what did you just say? You just said it. It was about the mother. Oh God, Jesus, help me.
It's okay. We're not forgetting because we're old.
It was. Oh my God.
No.
It's because it's been a long day.
No. We're young and
we're young and vibrant.
I'm trying to figure this one out.
It's a long day.
Knowing the roles. No, that wasn't.
It was a trick, and I hit it, but it's going for me.
It'll come back to your child.
But in the name of love, you know what I mean?
Right.
In the name of love. And a lot of times, I think that a lot of people don't address issues that need to be addressed because we know that it will cause a problem. We know that the person will rebuttal or maybe run away or avoid. And then we're afraid that they'll walk away from us and we don't want to be alone. There's a lot of different layers, a lot of different situations. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it first and foremost, you have to be with someone that you're able to communicate with. There has to be a healthy guideline for communication where you can exchange.
Because then they can't even receive it.
Right, they can't receive the message if they're not ready to, if they don't even know how to
You
communicate.
could crack open the Bible and show them that scripture where it says that, but they still not going to receive
it. It doesn't resonate.
I'm a believer that it's how you say things. What place are you saying it from? Are you saying it and speaking it in love? Mm-hmm. Even if you're having a hard conversation, it's how, how are you
it's
conveying
how you say it, but it's when you say it.
Time, there you go.
It's timing and everything.
There you go.
And when I was thinking, I kept the word torn kept coming in my head. Sometimes we get torn when there's a situation between mom and boyfriend or mother and father, and they don't get along. You are torn because the love that you have for both person, it's almost like this person's saying that person's saying that about that person. You like, can we just get along?
But it goes back to the point that you said earlier when you were talking about your son and you were saying how, if he's out of order, you're going to check him. You don't care if he gets mad. It's like, yes, when we transition from childhood to adulthood, it usually is like a little bit difficult for our parents to like grasp it, right? Mm-hmm. But if they have raised us to do things in decency and order, providing that they even know what decency and order is, then even when that rift comes, you should be able to say to them, no, mommy, I know that your birthday is tomorrow, but that's my anniversary. And I'm going to have to take my wife.
Yes.
We're going to have to go. Yeah. But I'm going to get you something, though. And that you taught me that, mommy. And they should be able to respect it. No, she's not going to love it. She's not going to love it.
That's spot on.
She's not gonna love it.
Yes,
but Dad, I know I come over every Sunday and cook for you, but it's my husband's birthday now, so I'm like, I ain't gonna be able to.
And they should be okay with that.
And you taught me that, Dad.
It's Valentine's
Day, or Dad, Mom. My wife needs a car. I know I got extra money, but y'all gonna have to wait. I got, what I mean, like.
But see, that's the part of my understanding when it comes to that, because if she is my wife or he is my husband, you do not come before her or him. So I'm just not understanding why we become so selfish.
You know what? I think, and that made me think of the world's version of how things are supposed to go.
Come on.
So in the world says, well, your mom was here first, and your dad was here first, and your brother and sister, and this one and that one, and your cousin, and your aunt Boo-Boo was here first. All of that is true. But the Lord God made us all and mapped out exactly what order He wants us to do things in. So how dare you, when you didn't create us all, make your own rules about who comes first, second, third, and fourth.
And the crazy part about it is that these households don't even...
God was here.
But if that's being taught,
God was here
that's
first.
the thing. If that's being taught in your household, that's the thing. People say, "Oh, I'm a Christian," but are you really a Christian? Just because you say I'm a Christian, don't mean you're a Christian.
Right.
So we deal with these individuals, and you may be on it. You may be going to church. Like at younger ages, when we were younger, I didn't understand what the word was talking about. I was like, please hurry up and get out of this church. I'm ready to go. But as I got older and as I faced obstacles and adversity, I started to understand and appreciate His word. I understood what His word was saying to me, what it affected me. I remember the time when I was mad.
The living word, huh?
The living word.
I mean, I was mad at God. I told God, I said, the people in the church was praising Him. I said, yeah, go ahead and praise Him. I was mad.
But you matured.
No, I was mad. I was like, I ain't praising you. He says, but you won't praise me. He says, I remember that time I heard Him say in my ear, so you're not going to praise me, but I've given you everything you ever asked for.
Right.
He says, and it was so funny because I'm going to say this to you. My aunt was upset with God too when her son got killed. Mm-hmm. And she said to God, how could you take my son? He said, but you took mine.
Yes.
So sometimes, with the word I keep saying, it's selfish.
Yeah, we can be really selfish.
Who said, but you took mine?
God.
God gave, but didn't God give His
Yes,
son?
but guess what? He gave His son. He gave His son for sacrifice. But deep down inside, the reason why He gave it to us is because we didn't believe.
Yeah,
we didn't believe.
Right.
We needed it.
You know what I'm saying? So if we would have believed, then His son would not have been taken for sacrifice. But we did not believe.
It's all because of Jesus.
He said, so how can you get upset with me when they took my son? If they would have believed who he was, if they would have believed who I am, even when he was on that cross and he said, I am who I am. But nobody believed him until everything started going away and they started seeing everything happening. Then they started to believe who God was.
Right.
But he said, I am who I am.
Right.
Very true.
I felt the spirit.